Alright. What is up, gang? My head. One second. Here we go. Alright. So, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So glad to be back once again. Tonight is our last night for now, I would say, because I actually have run out of characters to paint. Surprising enough, right? So just to give y'all a bit of the rundown of what was going on throughout this for the last 2 weeks is that my parents, when they came home from Europe, they brought in a few boxes of Space Marines that I wanted to paint. And not only did I want to paint them, I wanted to be painted in the fashion of the cast from Space Marine 2. So we painted the Bulwark, we painted Valius the Tactical, Quartus the Bulwark, Valius the Tactical, Decimus the Vanguard, and Titus, as well as Leandros the Chaplain. So, and which leaves now Gadriel. Now, after Gadriel, unfortunately, I'm going to have to stop because after carefully looking at the box or the sprues of the Space Marines that I currently have, supposedly there was one other character that was supposed to be modeled, which is Chiron. The problem is Chiron has a cybernetic prosthetic arm, which the sprue does not have. So my progress has been halted for the meantime. In addition, I do not have Scipius the Eliminator Sniper and Strayban the Heavy Intercessor, as well as Vespasius the Jump Assault Intercessor. So actually, I have managed to grab myself a box of Eliminator Snipers. However, they are still en route. They're not arriving anytime soon. So we might need to take a bit of a break while there isn't any model of the Space Marine 2 cast. However, that doesn't mean I'm not gonna stop painting. I still have the rest of the models to paint. Although I won't be painting any more intercessors after these three here, because these three will be filling up my roster for a Angels of Death kill team. So they will be primed and painted down the line somewhere throughout the week. However, I don't know, I'm still deciding if I should still stream it, but I will have to change up everything because it's no longer a stream. It'll no longer, the painting job will no longer feature the Space Marine 2 cast, but instead just all the rest of the models that I have on hand. So that's sad to say, right? However, as soon as the Eliminator Sniper box arrives, I will be definitely streaming then. There'll be a definite stream of a continuation of the Space Marine 2 cast. So I hope you can look forward to that, because I'm also looking forward to it once they arrive. So I'm not actually sure when they will arrive. Usually that takes depending where I ordered it, it usually takes 2 to 3 weeks to arrive. Which is insane, especially if I ordered it here locally in the Philippines. It also depends on like where exactly it's coming from. If it's coming from up north in Manila and Luzon, then it will take a while. I don't know why it takes forever to arrive. In fact, sometimes when I order stuff directly from China, it arrives sooner than it arrives sooner than the stuff I order from Luzon. So, kind of crazy. However, there's other sources that I know of that are much closer than Luzon. Some sources may arrive from within the same area as I'm in, but the major issue is the stock. So which models they have, which models they don't. And unfortunately, the heavy intercessors models are not available where close to where I'm at. There's also another store that I did check weeks prior to starting these streams. I checked out if they had heavy intercessors. Unfortunately, it didn't have. They mostly had infiltrator. I think they had infiltrator. I don't know. I don't remember. Trying to recall. I don't think it's coming to mind at the moment, but maybe I don't think I remember. I mostly remember a lot of the kill teams that were available then, but otherwise, nah. All right, so I'm putting up chat now. Oh, hey, Devil, how's it going, man? How's your evening? What are you planning on doing tonight? Doing some more Twilight 84? And if you are, how's that going? I know I haven't been tuning into much of your streams as of late because I would just, right after my stream, I would just go straight to bed. Maybe play a little Moko or Smash for a bit, then go to bed. But otherwise, like a few matches in, maybe a match or two, and I'm just out like a light. I'm just checking on my brushes. Another thing that I also ordered is proper brush cleaning materials and some new brushes too, because as much as I love the brushes that I have, if you look at the state of some of these, they are frayed as hell. They are damaged, and I cannot repair if not most of them. This one is definitely damaged beyond repair. Is frayed. But I am hoping that the new materials that I got, which is not just the brush cleaning chemicals but also a brush shaper, will help me fix this. Give these brushes one last chance at life. Because if those things don't change anything on these brushes, then I'm sorry, these are all going in the dumpster. Or most of them anyway. There are a few things I'll be keeping here and there, but brushes like this one is pretty much damaged beyond repair. This one too. So those brushes I don't know why I placed these back. These brushes I'm going to be using for this evening. So hopefully I don't know for how long the delivery will take for those brushes to arrive, but I'm guessing, because I ordered it just this morning, I think. Yeah, I ordered this just this morning, so those materials will arrive 2 weeks from now, if not more, unfortunately. So we'll see how that goes. So in the meantime, let's enjoy this one last model we're gonna paint before we take a short hiatus. Otherwise, if like people start like commenting or liking the video a lot, then maybe I'll just continue painting the rest of the gang or the rest of the models that I still have on hand. But there will be no more. It won't be titled as putting together the Space Marine 2 cast because we're pretty much done at this point. We just need to finish Gadriel, and then once the other boxes, like I'm also waiting for the next paycheck, I guess, because I want to be trying to slowly accumulate savings so I can buy the rest of the other boxes. It will take some time because those boxes are not cheap. Like, it would take a good portion of my salary to actually get those boxes. So I'm not going to be in a hurry to get them anytime soon. But I did manage to snag myself a good deal for the Eliminator Sniper. So again, looking forward to that. So before we start getting to painting the model here, I want to clear up some space by getting the transfers already out of the transfer sheet, because it'll be a lot easier for me to handle painting them if I have already removed the stuff from the sheet. So we're gonna just slowly and carefully extract the stuff we need. Now, which one do I want to cut out? Trying to find a sample. Oh, right. We need to remove the sergeant symbol. I want to move this bit. I'm gonna move the mic back up a bit because, or at least the pop filter, because this thing is hitting my hat, or my hat is hitting the pop filter every time I lower my head. So, okay, sergeant symbol. So in the ranks of the Space Marines, especially the Ultramarines, they have specific heraldry for people in rank. So, which I am now trying to remove, an important one, because I don't know when this was. I don't know if this was a recent change in the lore and stuff. But one thing is for sure, for the Ultramarines, there is a reason why their sergeants' helmets are colored red. And it goes back to a certain point in the sort of history of the Space Marines, specifically the Ultramarines. And I can't get too much into detail into that because my mind will be focusing on trying to remember the lore rather than actually getting the paint job done. And we don't want that. I want to stay focused for the painting, not trying to remember all the lore. So I would recommend trying to find that information out yourself somehow. Alright, so one tricky part that I'm going to be noticing later is this shoulder pad right here. Now that one will require this right here, this battle line symbol. And we will remove the fourth company symbol. Fourth company or fourth squad? Can't remember. Alright. So I don't think I'll need any other symbols. I was just double checking to make sure I didn't cut too much of the transfer. Otherwise I'd have to cut another one, which is kind of a waste. So now getting to the model. This, don't mind, all of this is all dried up, so we're gonna have to put in some new paint. Well, we're gonna start out our painting session with, as you have already known, I have been using purple as the color that will cover up all the dark areas of the armor. And as I grab some samples here, that has led to quite an effect on the models. So you can see the purple there, how it progresses into the blue. So it has a very specific effect on armor, on the color scheme. It doesn't destroy it, rather it helps it progress from a darker shade to the lighter shades of blue. So we're still gonna add the same exact effect on the model as usual. So nothing's gonna change with that. We're gonna do the exact same thing here. So let me grab our mixing brush here as we take our Canter blue. Mix it with our corn red. There we go. Nice even distribution of the colors, and that should do it for what we need. Actually, maybe I should thin it out a bit. Just a little bit more. I don't want too much paint on the brush. Just removing some of the excess. So we are trying to focus on the darker parts of the armor, because I want that purple to help progress into the blue. So I did some research and I was trying to learn more about the technique that I'm using for most of the models I've been doing, which is the slap chop method. And apparently a lot of, well, I don't know how much people or how many painters actually use this method for their army specifically, because apparently this is used to speed paint armies. However, it does have its drawbacks when it comes to painting the models. Because not everything gets covered up by the dry brush, which is fair. I do acknowledge that I did have a bit of trouble painting some of the models. However, it has still proven very effective if you do it correctly, or at least correctly to an extent, right? The way it was meant to be used. So after you're done doing the whole zenithal shading with the white and everything, then you go for you start doing the details and stuff, and this is where like the whole method starts popping off. However, the one major difference between what I'm doing and what a lot of the content creators that do painting and stuff, the difference between our methods is that I do not have access to contrast paint. And contrast paint has a different, consistency compared to this normal layer paint. So the contrast paint is it has a different mix. It has some thinner in it so that when you start applying it on the model, it does not fully occupy the space, if you get what I mean. It's much thinner, so that means all the white parts here will push the color out. And I don't know how to describe it. They described it in a certain way, but I can't remember exactly how to describe it. All I can say is that it does have an effect on the white areas that you've colored. But since I do not have access to contrast paint, I'm trying to do what I can with what I have. I've noticed also I've been stuttering a lot. Need to work on that when I speak. But then again, my brain is trying to do two things. One is talking, the other is painting. It seems like I can't do both because it requires a lot of focus. So I'm just cleaning up a bit here. So I do want to get that in a different way. So again, what I'm doing right now is trying to get the darker parts of the shading, because once I start applying the blue, I'm going to try and blend it with the purple so you get this natural blend effect. And the last thing I want is too much of the blue that you can't fully express the power of how the purple is progressing the shade. Or expressing the highlights. Because you may think that I'm just splashing purple all over the model, but actually it's going to have an effect that you will see very soon once we start using the rest of the colors. purple, this purple is also going to help me hide some of the errors that I made in the shading process, which I kind of like as well. So, you know, take some of the situation to your advantage and use it as a tool to make your model look much better than it should have looked. Okay, so let's have a nice look at the model currently. I've gotten a lot of the purple all over the model, hitting up all those dark areas. Now when I mean dark, I mean those areas that you think that light is not going to express itself on the model. So that is the purpose as to why we are trying to make sure that's all painted, because once we start applying the blue, it will generate a certain effect. Okay, so let's move on to the blue that we are going to be using. Takes a blend of the deep blue and some ultramarine. Alright. So what I want this to do right now is try and thin it out a bit, because I think I placed too much, just a bit too much water. And it's affecting the model greatly. In the way that I didn't want it to affect. Let's pull back a bit because I think we are getting too much. I want more paint over the water. Again, I want this blue to progress a bit from the purple. trying to be careful not to get it in places where I don't want it to get into. Because we are dealing with paint that's quite heavily saturated with water. So it's going to try and get into crevices. In other words, it's gonna get inside those those vent ports, just the vents of the ventilator on his helmet. I don't want that. So I noticed there is an area here that's lacking a little bit of purple. So I want to target that really quick. There's too much water. Okay. There's just too much water. I wonder why. There shouldn't be. Maybe I've made the palette a bit too wet. I've placed too much water on the palette. It's too moist. Sorry if I gone quiet. I am trying to get back out from the zone because I was I was definitely zoning out. Oh man, that's funny. Every time, trying to paint here, and then I'm also forgetting that I have a stream, I have a chat to talk to. I shouldn't forget to talk to them. Otherwise, I feel like I'm too far in the deep end, man. Too far gone. I've gone into the deep end of the painting zone. So I'm just trying to get some parts here. Make sure it's blending nicely. Because we are still gonna move on to the next color. We are gonna get into a brighter color, right? Just because this is the supposedly the major color doesn't mean we aren't going to just put it on and then move on to the next detail, right? So another thing I've also learned is I should probably try and put some initial darker colors onto certain areas of the model so that in preparation for once I place everything else. So what I want to do, especially with the gold, we are going to try and mix something here. I'm trying to think. Maybe I will take the leather brown. Let's put it in the same spot where I placed it before. Maybe I should shake it more often next time. We are just gonna go for these areas here. Now, why would I put brown on the parts that are supposed to be gold? I want to try something, right? There is something in particular I want to try and do, because I've noticed that whenever I just go straight for the gold, it doesn't turn out the way I want it to. Like, there are definite areas where I've missed, and I tried to make it solid by covering it up with brass, which I've realized is not really a good solution. So what I've learned is that you want to put in something in as an initial layer, because once you put in that gold layer, this brown color will sort of fill in the gaps and will complement the gold. I think it will give it that a portion of the gold area as a tarnished look. So we're gonna experiment and do that with this one and see how it goes. Hopefully it goes the way I think it's gonna go, and that's pretty well. And the colors will complement each other. Now let's not also forget that we need the leather brown to color of course, the leather bits that are attached to him. So, I loaded the brush too much. I overloaded the brush. Let's try and shave off some of that paint and spread it around instead. let's not forget this strap. And I realized I made a grave mistake on the helmet. Yikes. Because the helmet's supposed to be red. Alright, let's figure something out really quick. Let me think. How do I correct this? One sec. Can I just snap off his head? Nope, that's not gonna happen. Can I just like... Nope, I don't want to do that. I don't want to overdo it. If we do that, we might actually ruin it. Thinking. What can I do to this model? Can I actually... Wait, let me see if I have alcohol. So let us try something here. Anyways, we have damaged brushes to use. Alright. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take some little bit of alcohol really quick here and just gently rub it on the model. It is going to unfortunately strip most of the paint off. So I will have to redo a bit of the reshading and everything. I don't mind that because hopefully we can correct our mistake. Or at least most of it. Got this scrub here. We can just try and slowly chip away the head. Try to get most of the paint off. Just want to try and nope. Trying to pry it is not gonna do a thing. So I'm just gonna try and scrub off paint, whatever we can scrub off. Just do it nice and gently, so as to not disturb the other parts of the model. So now we've got most of the paint off. Alright. Now we can go back. First, I want to dry off the model. Let's rinse off the alcohol as much as possible. Try to get that, remove all of that. Okay. Do want to try and get at the little bits here. Hopefully I can get to it. Okay. That's most of the paint off the helmet. So we are going to try and reprime it. It's always good to figure out new ways to make corrections. There isn't always such a thing as, oh no, I've done it wrong and I can't fix it anymore. Nah, figure out something. Try everything you can and find a solution, because you never know what you'll end up with. So just reprime the helmet. Maybe I've placed a bit too much paint. Let's try and thin it out a bit more. Just a bit. Because as you know, we've already painted on this once, so I think it would be best if we can just thin out the paint just a bit, so we can now my mother is calling me, so I shall be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now give me a moment. Let's have a look. Okay. We can still recover from this. We're still good. We're still in the clear. Stripped off too much of the paint. Okay. Alright, we managed to get back to where we were. At least for the helmet. Managed to recover. We're good. We are in the clear. Although I do need to add just that bit of wine. Hold on. I will. Oh, this is quite wet. Hold on. I really want this to be dry. For the purpose I am trying to achieve. There we go. Okay, much better. I don't want to waste my alcohol, so I decided to put it back. Okay. So the helmet's now fixed. Now we can go back and redo the blue that we shaved off. Try to get blue on the helmet this time. Remember to actually color it red this time. So for that, we're gonna need some corn red. We're also gonna put it on this first, just to sample our paint. It's a bit too thick. Alright, let's thin it out. And take our cleaning brush and rub that off. Oop. Oh no. I've made a grave error. One sec. Once again, I have made a terrible, terrible mistake. Just try and remove all of that black and purple. All the black. Please remove all the black. I did not mean to put black. That was not my intention. Okay, got most of it off. Let's try this again. of it. Nope. Too much moisture. I just want to clean up the vents here. Okay. Even if it means I have to strip some of the paint off. Okay. Gonna need this brush because this one can help me actually get the paint where I really need it most. Let's just thin it out a bit here first. Just slowly paint that around. Okay. That's a bit better. But we still got a lot of work to do in order to achieve the color I want. I'm just gonna try and rub a bit more red on the sides here. Because the helmet is supposed to be entirely red. that as is, because we are going to move on to the next color, which is the vermilion red. But I want to try and get a mid-tone and mix it a bit with the corn red, just to see what kind of effect we can get from mixing these two paints together. Because I'm hoping for a sort of middle ground between the dark red and the bright red, as we try and get some highlights working for us here. I also want to cover areas where you can slowly progress to a much brighter red. And we're slowly getting that blend effect as the tones start progressing into each other. Which is exactly what I wanted to happen. Alright. Now let's jump to... Oh shoot. Oh no! It's okay. So what happened is I didn't see it, but a portion of the wax paper was kind of exposing the sponge on my palette here. And unfortunately, because of the way the brush was positioned, some of the paint got into the sponge. Unfortunate, but not a big deal. Right, now let's pull out the vermilion. Alright. It's fine. going to do the same for this over here. Alright. First we start with the mid-tone. Then we progress to the vermilion. Now for the vermilion though, we are going to be a little bit more gentle. Not go too hard on it. Just want to get little dabs here and there. Gotta be gentle because you don't want too much of the vermilion, right? Alright, next I'm gonna mix a bit of gray because I want to prepare the this ornament here for the metallic paint that's gonna come. Probably should do the same for this. Something else I want to do, a bit of cleanup, because while we're at it, notice that there are some mold lines that need to be removed. Unfortunately, I was unable to remove. So let's try to remove it now before we paint these fingers. So at least that is clean enough. Okay. One other thing I want to do is I want to add just a bit more. Nope. That's a bit too much too. That's okay. I'm gonna add a bit more highlight on this, just a bit more. Okay, just to see what happens if I actually color it right this time. Now for the eyes, I want to do is, okay, we're gonna need a bit of a zoom in here. Okay. Now the reason why I did that is because I'm gonna take our green, mix it a bit of white, okay, that's a bit. I think we're gonna need a bit more green though. Okay, that's too much. Oh no. That's fine. Let's just smother it here first. Get it out a bit. And then once again, we go to our eyes and just slowly fill those in with the green that we just mixed. Leaving just a bit of white for a bit of and it's okay if we kind of accidentally smother some green all over, right? Maybe I want a darker green at the back here. Let me just mix up something here. Here we go. Next we do the ornaments and the gold is coming in soon. Wait one sec. I do want that skull on his forehead to be colored in with a bit of brown in preparation to receive the gold. Let's pull this back. Oops, sorry. Because we have done most of the small stuff we needed to do. Now we put the gold to work. So as I thought, the brown is helping give us that tarnished gold that I was looking for. Wish I had done it with the other model, but it's fine because again, I'm trying to find new ways, find new techniques to learn. So, and then apply it onto whatever canvas, quote unquote, that is available to me. I really need to keep practicing speaking while I'm doing stuff, because my stutters are really annoying, but not discouraging in the slightest. It's gonna happen, especially when your mind is focused on one thing and then you're trying to do another. One thing I wanted to also open up on is like certain techniques and what other opinions of other artists and stuff, because I've been doing some extensive research on other techniques, other ways of painting your models. So trying to expand more on the slap chop method, trying to find out how can I improve the way I paint. And I learned that some people like certain techniques, others don't like it because it's different. It's not achieving the certain goal that they're, or at least the certain look that they're trying to achieve. So that's why the technique doesn't work for them, or they say it's not a great technique, or it's not a good way of painting, which is fair. I mean, for them, because they are trying to achieve something. I, on the other hand, I'm also trying to achieve something different. So that's why even like now, with how my painting is going, I'm actually liking how my model is looking, because I don't want it to look like this very shiny, clean, and, you know, spiffy model that a lot of people like to color their models. I want it to be rough. I want it to be expressing decades of war, like the soldier or the marine in this case has undergone extensive campaigns, has seen a lot of things during his time, and experienced numerous battles. So I don't want the paint job to be just like, oh, it's so clean and shiny. No. What's years, if not centuries, of work gonna do to your armor? It's gonna do a hell of a lot of damage. So I want to capture that kind of gritty, nitty-gritty style, because that's what the 40k universe is like. It's dark, it's unpleasant. I'm just trying to fix something, because it seems that the primer didn't get into some good spots, so I'm just gonna fix that. I'll just cover that up later with some purple paint. For the meantime, I want to target this right here. Just cover that. Because I placed a bit too much purple and not enough blue. Okay. Now let's check some areas, other areas here that need touch-ups. This one definitely, because this may have been damaged from when we took out our brush and started removing paint, so I want to fix that. Make sure that is repaired. Okay. So now look at our model, how it's looking. Pretty good now. Okay, let's get a zoom in. There. This is what I'm trying to achieve, right? This nitty-gritty look with a bit of tarnish here and there. So we're gonna target the shield bit there next. Seemed that there's some bit of extra plastic that I did not catch right there. I'm trying to remove it just carefully. Just a bit more to shave that off. Okay. Then we just take our paintbrush and cover it up. Alright, I apologize for the interruptions, but tonight is quite a busy night because there's a lot of backlog in the laundry here in the house. So, and I am the laundryman. I'm the assigned laundry person of the household, so I will definitely most be interrupted as often as needed. And I do not mind because that is my job in this household. I do my part. I'm doing my part. Alright. I have my part to play in this household, and I will fulfill my duties as the family's laundryman. So help me. So the only reason why I'm being called out to do laundry is because there's a lot to do. And honestly, there is a lot of laundry. I think I just loaded the third load for today. So I will have to check on it eventually. So I will apologize in advance for the sudden interruption in the stream as I take care of household duties. I'm not getting the paint, enough paint, at least for what I want to do. Maybe also because I may be using the wrong brush for this. Okay. One thing I also also want to make an adjustment for is the scope. I'll deal with that later, but first let's go back to dark blue because I'm gonna miss the spot here. Should probably color this. Okay. So next I wanna get our medium flesh really quick. Oh, not the flesh, not the flesh. Oh yes, actually correct. So we take the flesh and we take some brown and mix it. And then we apply it to this. And just rub off some excess. Okay. Then next, let's go for white and then mix it in with that. Right? Just a bit more. Bit more white. I need a bright, nice and bright color here. There we go. Alright, next I'm gonna get some brass for those bullets, for those bolter rounds inside the stalker bolter. There are exposed ammunition there, and we want that to be expressed. Alright, you know what? Let's just get into that. Put it on the palette. A bit too much. I just need... I need only paint on the tip of the brush. Because otherwise, if I had gone in and painted it, it might rub on other parts of the gun that I don't want the brass to be attached to. Alright, the other side. Okay. Alright, next, let's see. What else do we want to work on? What else do we need to do? We need to do blue highlights. Oh, actually, the vents. Let's do that next. We still have some lead belcher here. But I think we're gonna need more. Yeah, we're gonna need more. I'm not gonna use this brush because this requires a much wider surface. I need a bigger brush. Funny thing about this lead belcher, or this paint I'm applying right now, you'd think that it would be... It might be a mistake if I accidentally got some of the paint all over the armor, but if I can just catch a small bits of it, it might look like the ceramite or the metal underneath the paint job is exposed. So it kind of gives that different kind of effect. Alright, let's now move on to the blue highlights. So we're gonna go back to the smaller brush, smaller tip, smaller surface to work with, right? Need a lot of white. You know what? I'm gonna grab a bit of the green because I want a bit of... I want this teal color. What I'm going for, right? So go after the edges. It's a bit dark, so we're gonna have to brighten it up a bit. There we go. Much better. Much brighter. Yep. But it's a bit much, so we're gonna erase it. I just want to do the edge only. And not the whole big part there. Gotta be a bit more careful than that. Now we don't have to draw lines on everything, but just make sure that most, if not most of the edges are expressed. Even if it... Oh no, actually. Oh no! Oh no, 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 actually. I regret what I said earlier about, like, paint getting in the wrong place, making the armor look damaged. You know, about the metallic paint. The metallic paint actually got somewhere where it shouldn't be. I'm eating my words instantly. Alright, that's easy. Easy correction. Easily corrected. There we go. So we can get back to this. Okay. We're slowly getting those edges nice and colored. Time to do a bit of a correction here before we jump back to our edge highlights. Almost got this done. Now, ooh, you know what? I just spotted something here that I don't particularly like. Just a tad too much on this side. Right. Now let's do a bit of the edges on the helmet really quick. I just want to target just small areas of the helmet. Let's have, oops, sorry about that. Have a nice close look at the model. Not quite done yet. Could do a little more work. Ah, leather. Of course. Of course, we kind of missed that. Let's try and get back to that. So, in order to tackle the leather, we're gonna need a nice brighter shade of this brown here. Let's do a bit of cleanup because I made a fatal mistake. Not really fatal, sorry. I made a slight mistake. Don't know why I said fatal. Kind of wild that I would say that. What else am I missing here? Where is my teal again? I want to tackle a little bit on that armor there. Just a bit. Few hints of teal here and there. There you go. Now, I'm gonna take our dry brush again because there is something I want to tackle a bit before we get to it, and that is the soil. I want this shaded or highlighted a little more, because one thing I learned from our previous models is that I noticed that sometimes the soil does not often blend with the colors I wanted because I did not first shade that. So now when we add the drab color now, it will be much brighter than if it was just the drab by itself. Let's also get some of that drab all over the boots, all over the greaves, because pretty sure fighting all over Kadaku pretty much ruined their boots. So just wanted to express that a little bit more. Add a bit of vegetation here and there. Okay. Then we get our almighty bush. Take this bit. Oh, I got too much. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. That's not what I wanted to do. And it's stuck to each other. Great. There we go. Just a bit in there. Go back. Maybe we can get one more. Come on, focus. Focus on the marine. There we go. And with that, that is the last model that I had to paint today, or for the next few weeks or so. Oh, let's not forget the up. Yep. It's a good thing I remembered. We're done with the paint job, but we are not done with the model just yet, because I just remembered. We are now about to do the most difficult part of the build. Least I forget. This is by far the most annoying part of any paint job now, and that is the transfers. So let's put all this paint away. Let's see a little part hiding underneath there. This box. Okay. So prepare the brush. We need to prepare this stuff. Tweezers. Oh dang it. Okay, let's not panic. Let's not panic. Let's make sure that that is dry. Take our setter. Excess. And just we're gonna take the softer. See if it won't have an effect on our little friend here. We have to be very gentle. Now let's leave that be. Move on to the next bit. This part is the most exhausting, most difficult part. Okay. Oh, what happened? Oh, the phone died. I forgot to. Oh, I forgot to put on the charger. That's my bad. One sec. Give me a moment. Ay. I'll fix that. Alright. It'll fix itself in a few minutes. I apologize. Completely forgot. Plug in the charger. That is on me. Okay. Give me a sec, folks. The camera is about to come back on. Now, in the meantime, while we are waiting for that to work, let's move on to the next bit. Now, I'm trying to see how much do we have to take off the transfer so this works. Oh, I know I pretty much cut off a bit of the stream because of this, but once the camera's back on, we'll be back in business. Just give me a moment while I sort the camera out. No, that's not it. Oh, it has to put in the new. Okay, give me a moment. I will fix this right quick. Alright, all fixed. Now, where were we? Oh, that's done. Hold on. Where did our thing go? Was it this one? Nope. This is not it either. Hold on. I just placed it here somewhere. I just got it. There it is. Before we attach it, let's get the setter on there. That's a bit too much. Leave that be. Check on the other marks. That one needs a bit more softer. Just enough. Okay. We can just slowly pick away at the bubbles. Try and remove it. At least most of it. Okay. Now I'm waiting for this to settle just a bit more before we all right. We just admire the work for a bit longer while we wait. Should probably prepare the last thing we need to attach. Now I think I want to add just a bit of softener, a wee bit. It softens up. Then let's take this brush, dry it off, and just take away some of that excess fluid. Okay. Take our other brush and just gently make sure there aren't any more bubbles. Make sure the logo is nice and implanted there. Okay. Okay. Now we'll just wait for a bit and enjoy the view. Because I will definitely need... Hold on. It's starting to move. Let's be careful here. So I see this slightly moving. Nope, nope, nope. Get back into position. Not mess with that anymore. That should be good. Let's have another glance at everything. Next is my favorite part, and that is to Start with the sponge. Yeah. Okay. We are almost done. Sorry. Kind of went out of the camera back there. Forgot to switch it back. Not to worry. So I want to try and clean that sponge and see if alcohol won't try and get some of the paint off that's currently stuck on the sponge. Right, let us clean up really quick. I'm gonna change the water because it's contaminated at the moment with so much of the metallic paint. So there's like little glittery bits floating around. We don't have any more paint here. So attack the edges a bit. Hmm. And that we are done. That is well and varnished. That's that. Okay. Let's see. what else do we need to do next? Let's have a look. So right now it's covered in varnish, but once that dries, we can have a nice good look of it once it's done. Hold on. My goodness, man. I didn't realize time flew so by. Wow, okay, flew so by. I can't believe time flew so fast. It's already 10 o'clock. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting for the time to be. I didn't expect 10 o'clock to come right soon. And I can tell now it's late. Not really late, but it's about bedtime because my brain is starting to shut off already. But let's have one good look. One last good look at the model. I am very happy how this all turned out. So before we end stream, I want to showcase everything that we've done so far. All of the models all together in one shot. All right. Gang's all here. Wait, hold on. Let's move this over. So I want this light. There. About here. Sorry about the mic. I wanted the light. Nice spot. Hold on. Wider shot. Close that. Man, that looks good. Can't believe how all of this turned out. Brush. Get all the tools out of the way, right? We're gonna need to clean that later. Man. Alright. So, with that, our current collection is completed. I will be continuing doing all the other models in the background while or off stream. Be organizing my time for that. So, what is the possible next schedule for stream? I do not know. Really depends on how soon the delivery arrives. But in the meantime, I'm gonna think about if I wanna still continue streaming the painting. We will add and include we'll probably include all of these. I still have other models to paint. We still have all of the infiltrators. We still have a few of these. We have to fill out our roster for the for the rest of the Space Marine kill team. So if anything, these are the members of the kill team, and I can proxy an assault marine with using Decimus, or I can proxy a different leader of the team, like so. So we can have Titus as the squad lead, then have all the rest, or we can have Quartus as squad lead. Either way. So, or even the chaplain or Leandros as squad lead. So different options. Can have him, 3 different leader options, more or less the similar stats, because they serve as proxies. They don't actually have any official stat lines for kill team. For Big Hammer, they do have both the chaplain and Titus. They have actual stat lines for Big Hammer, but for kill team, there are none of these characters are actually in don't have any stat lines for kill team. So they can only serve as proxies for certain leader units. So for example, I can have a Space Marine Captain. A Space Marine Captain has only a Plasma Pistol and a Power Fist as their weapon options, as far as I know. So do a flip. Wait, hold on. I just turned on the tablet back on just now. I can see your chat. And I don't understand what you mean by so do a flip. Okay. Right now, I'm having a good look on the Gadriel model right now, especially since most of the varnish has now dried up, and making sure that I'm confident I can leave the model as it is now. I'm quite happy with the rest of these, how they turned out. Ah, okay. Titus came out not exactly the way I wanted it to come out, but it's better than when I first painted it. That is for sure. So let's move this light back to where I originally had it. Back here. Bulwark. Maybe it could have done a little bit better as well. I could have painted a bit more brighter, brighten up some other areas of the model. So like as usual, how my style progresses, it's like after another model, it gets better and better until we get to this one, which is like one of my best work, because I went back to some videos and did some like research on how to do the models, and this is like the best at the moment. And if I were to paint the rest of these, it would be similar to this. Although I wish this applied to all of these, but it's okay. It's because I did lots of trial and error, had to go through a lot of process in order to understand what I was doing. And I'm glad that this evening as we got to the last model that I was able to achieve something close to what I would say is my personal best. So always improving, always looking for new ways, new methods to try out, and hopefully in the future I can keep on improving, looking for new ways to paint my models. And with that, thank you so much for joining me this evening. We have extended way past my scheduled ending of stream, but I've enjoyed the process. I've enjoyed everything that I've done so far. I will think about continuing streaming the rest of the painting job, although we're not going to be focusing on the Space Marine 2 cast until I get another box that's coming on its way. And maybe in the future I will at some point do a playtest of Kill Team. We'll have to do it solo, unfortunately, but at the same time I could invite a friend who is willing to film it with me, although I'd have to figure out the entire setup of how to get it to work. It's kind of a struggle, and how to produce a battle report. That's what they call it. It's a battle report. So it's a full stream of the gameplay. You'll see mostly like this camera here will be mostly facing the board, and this camera will be facing towards me and my friend or whoever decides to play with me in real time. So I think I accidentally left paint on the brush. That's pretty bad. Hopefully I can clean this later. Okay, so with that, okay, just gonna grab all these brushes, gonna get cleaning, getting these brushes prepared for the next paint job, and I'll see you all very soon.